Good afternoon. Welcome to the St. Martin Parish Council Joint Committee Meeting of Tuesday, April 21st, 2026 at 4:30 in the Carol J. Fugere Meeting Room of the St. Martin Parish Government Annex Building. Please silence all cell phones and remove all hats. The public may comment upon any item which requires a vote by St. Martin Parish Council. We ask that you fill out a request to speak form located in the back of the room. Once completed, you are to bring it to the sheriff deputy who will give it to me. Mr. Clay is excused. I'd like to call the meeting to order with a prayer led by our council clerk, Ms. Brooke Thibodeau.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Would you lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd ask that everyone remains standing for a moment of silence. We'd ask for a moment of silence for former police juror, council member, and city mayor, Mr. Thomas Nelson. Thank you.
Item 1, Executive Director Shanice Lewis, St. Martin Parish Council on Aging, Incorporated, to present information on Council on Aging.
Ms. Lewis?
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for inviting me and for allowing me some time on your agenda tonight. I'm going to take just a few minutes and do what I have the absolute pleasure of doing and have been doing for nearly 12 years now, and that is to give you a bit of information on what we do at the St. Martin Council on Aging. As I said, I have been the executive director for the last 12 years. And for many of you who don't know about the St. Martin Council on Aging and what we do, we are now in our 53rd year. We were established in 1973 under the Older Americans Act, under President Lyndon B. Johnson's leadership. We came to be through a charter that was granted through the Governor's Office of Elderly Affairs. And through that charter, they laid the structure for how we are to operate as an agency. In addition to the Governor's Office of Elderly Affairs, we're contracted with the Cajun Area Agency on Aging to provide what is called Title III services. And the Department of Transportation gives us a grant each year to run our transportation department. And when we talk about Title III services, we fall under what's called B, C, and E. Title 3B are all of our supportive services, which is where you can find things like transportation, homemaker services, telephoning, and outreach. Anyone who needs a service must be seen by a case manager. That is the beginning point of every service that we provide. And once they've been seen by a case manager, that case manager will determine the priority of the need, the level of the need, and so on and so forth. Our mission through the St. Martin Council on Aging is to make every day a better day for the seniors of St. Martin Parish. And we do this by providing advocacy and resources, as well as the other services that we provide. We have our Title 3B, which I just mentioned, our congregate, which is Title 3C. So under that title, we have our congregate meals, which comes along with recreation. When many people think about the Council on Aging, they think about bingo, because this is one of the activities that we do every day with our seniors. But with that bingo, it's also the opportunity to socialize and get out of the house. It's the opportunity to make new friends. And it's also the opportunity for our seniors to no longer be isolated. We have a great number of seniors that live in rural areas. Many of them have family members that live in other cities and states. And so we provide opportunities for them to socialize, for them to remain living independently for as long as possible. Our goal is to keep them out of the nursing homes and assisted living for as long as possible. And then under Title 3E, which is our caregiver component, this is for anyone who may be a caregiver to a senior parent, whether it's a parent, a neighbor, a friend. If you are providing any type of caregiver service to them, then we can provide an employee to go in and sit with them so that you, the caregiver, can get out and get some type of relief and get some type of rest for up to a few hours a day. All of our services are based on need. Although we do look at the income of our seniors, it's really to see where they fall on the socioeconomic scale. However, as long as there's a need, they're 60 years or older and they live in St. Martin Parish, that qualifies them to begin receiving services. Again, initially, they must be assessed by a case manager, and then that assessment must be updated every year. This helps us to update their information in the system, but it also helps us to be able to determine if there has been a change in need. When we talk about advocacy and resources, seniors call us for practically everything that they need. And if there's something that we cannot provide, we always provide them with a connecting agency. I believe firmly that we should never leave them without a type of resource, even if it's just to connect them with 232 Help. And so everything that they need, they can find through us, not just through services, advocacy, and resources, but also when they come out to our activity centers. We have our main center located in Broke Ridge, which is called the Sidney Mae Duran Activity Center. And then we also have a partnership with the city of St. Martinville, where we have a senior center or a satellite senior center at Magnolia Park. And each day, not only are they playing bingo, but they are hearing from people on how to have good health, how to prepare healthy recipes, what to do when they have legal issues. Many of our seniors, we're finding, are also experiencing domestic violence. And so we have guest speakers that come out and talk to them about those things. Again, anything that they need, they call us. And so some of the other things that we help them with are ramp assistance, food stamp assistance, Medicaid assistance, utility assistance, fans, heaters, and weatherization, housing repair assistance, medicine assistance, the Life Alert button. If they apply for a Life Alert button through us, they get a $15 per month discount, and that is with Acadian On Call. We also help them apply for free cell phones and free eyeglasses. And with this, we partner with many different agencies. Again, there are some services that we don't provide, but there's always a partnering agency that we can connect our seniors with. And so we are always that first point of contact. I want to talk a little bit about the services. And our top three services, more specifically, which would be our transportation and our meals, and then also our recreation, because that is obviously a big part of what we do day to day. But many people are not aware that we are the only public transportation provider here in St. Martin Parish. And because of that, anyone who is 17 and older can request our transportation with a 2-day advance notice. We do have various cash fares for anyone who is under 60 years old, but that transportation stretches as far as a 50-mile radius. We do try to keep those cash fares as low as possible because, again, we are considering the income of the parish that we serve and the residents that we serve. And so they can have a round trip for as low as $6. And I also included a copy of those cash fare rates with your packet, so that you can see for yourself. I've also included a copy of the daily lunch menu, because when they come out to play bingo, many of them are transported through our transportation department, but also they drive themselves there if they're able to. We do not act as an assisted living facility. We don't act as an adult daycare or a nursing home. Everything that they do is independent. We just provide the opportunities for them to come out, under certain policies and regulations that we have to follow. But they can come and go as they please, Monday through Thursday from 7:30 to 3:30, and then on Friday from 7:30 to 1 p.m. So again, transportation is one of our biggest departments, and we are able to have that transportation department through parish government, who is actually the recipient of the grant that we receive. And St. Martin Council on Aging is the sub-recipient. And so every year that we apply for the grant, parish government has to sign off on the authorizing resolution to give us permission to apply for the grant. And parish government, through an annual allocation, also helps us to supplement the budget. You'll see in your sheets on page 2 that there are still some costs that we have to come up with. Although we do receive state and federal funds, we still have a deficit in our budget that we are obligated to meet each year. And so we do that through parish government allocations, City of Breaux Bridge, Village of Parks, and some of our other local partners to help us meet these budgets. If you look at Title 3C in our home delivered meals or our Meals on Wheels program, you'll see that we have a deficit of roughly $136,000 there this current year. And so in order for us to meet that budget, it's important for us to do fundraisers and have other community support. And transportation and meals are the most necessary. The socialization, of course, is necessary, but when you talk about seniors who don't have a means to get to the bank or have a means to go grocery shopping or pick up medication, some of the seniors who don't have a means of cooking for themselves or family members bringing the meals, these two programs are very vital. And again, I have the handouts. I don't want to belabor my presentation, but again, anyone aged 17 and older can request our transportation services within a 50-mile radius. Travel must begin in St. Martin Parish, but they are usually transported to Iberia, Lafayette, and a small portion of St. Landry at this time. To school, work sites, doctor's offices, dialysis treatments, banks, grocery stores, pharmacies, and if they want to go visit a neighbor, we'll take them to visit a neighbor as well, as long as they request transportation with the 48-hour advance notice. And I do want to point out that we do not provide emergency transport. So if there's an emergency, we do advise them to dial 911 because we would not be able to meet that need. And I think I'm going to stop there and open the floor for any questions if you have any.
Any questions from the council? Ms. Jean-Baptiste?
Yeah, I have one. It's good to know about the schooling, because I had sit on the board with SLCC, and one of the things that they talked about was the lack of transportation services. So my question would be, like for someone that would be in St. Martinville that would need a ride, could in advance they schedule for like 3 or 4 days for the transportation pickup to be able to be brought to school?
Yes, they could, as long as they're calling within that 48-hour day notice, 48 hours notice. And once they reserve that ride, then they could say they need it for the next few days, and they would automatically go on schedule.
Okay.
Mr. Alexander?
I just want you to maybe give me a little detail on transportation for you have related to schools.
Yes, to schools. So that could be high school, that could be college, that could be technical school, anywhere that they may be going to further their education. I wouldn't necessarily say, we could possibly, because it's within a 50-mile radius, depending on where their college is, we could also transport to college, keeping in mind that our transportation department is open from 6:45 a.m. to roughly 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. And we do have people that schedule one way. They may want to be picked up and then they have someone to bring them back. And so we do that as well.
And they still have to give you the 48 hours advance notice?
Yes, and that is our policy based on what DOTD requires from us. Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Narcisse.
Is that because that's my first time ever hearing about the transportation, not just for 60 and older. Is that advertised? Is that listed on you guys' social media?
That is actually we do I guess you could call it a blurb in the Test News every week, and it runs. And then also when I'm posting to social media, I do put a clause there that says we are a public transportation provider. So, but I will also go on to more clearly define that it's for 17 and older.
Yes, because
Yes.
you said 60 and I would say 65, but yeah, that would be new and that would be very resourceful to the public because just as Councilwoman Jean-Baptiste mentioned, we sit on a board with SLCC and we've been back and forth with transportation. And if we were aware or, just heard it through the grapevine, we would have definitely brought it to the table because we had our representatives. We had Blake Miguez there, we had Marcus Bryant there, and they've been fighting for transportation in Baton Rouge to bring for the school. So we would have definitely used that, and I just think maybe our enrollment would have been up. But it would be even with the link from the parish government page that links to you guys, to a council on agent, if that can be updated.
Okay.
So, and clearer, letting it know it starts at age 17 as long as there is a 48-hour advance and what time it run. The community definitely needs it, and since it's there, let's utilize it.
But just for clarification, Ms. Lewis, there is a charge for the
Yeah.
transportation use.
Yeah, there's a fare.
Yes,
Oh, that's
there is
cheaper
a
than Uber.
fare.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely much less expensive than calling Uber or a taxi. And I do have a copy of the cash fare rates in your packet. I wanted to make sure that you could clearly see that. But we will definitely do that. And I think that if possible, we could enter into a partnership with SLCC to provide transportation because we can do that. So that's something that we could look at.
And then maybe the council might squeeze some more money in the budget.
Well, we definitely will be working on that. We will definitely work
We
on
did a
that.
big increase about 3 years ago. just to the record.
Just
I
saying.
think went from 40
Yes.
to 100, so.
Yes.
Mr. Delcom.
I've had the pleasure of working with Ms. Shanice over the last years, and it has been a pleasure. She's on top of her game. I mean, all of everything that's needed, documentation, paperwork. She's always looking for the next grant, looking for the next availability, looking for whatever needs to be done with the Council on Aging. And so I want to just give a good thank you to you for what you do. A lot of what you do is behind doors. People don't see to make an organization like this work. My hat's off to the board. Without you, putting in your intervention and coming in and taking the time, the deal is that nobody ever thinks they're going to get old, and nobody ever thinks they're going to have a need. You see yourself in the present condition and not thinking that you may have a future need. And it is a very viable program, a much needed program, and one that we need to continue funding and continue doing anything that we can to aid you and to help you in what y'all do in the community. So my thanks to you and to the board and everything that y'all do for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And if I can take a moment, I would like to introduce my board, if that's okay.
Ma'am, I was going to ask you to.
Yes, thank you. We have Ms. Jody Algeron, she's my board president. Mr. Steve Bear is our treasurer. Then we have Mr. Glenn Bro. We have Ms. Darnell Surratt Boudreau, and we have Ms. Rachel Zimmer. We do have a board of 11 members, and some of them could not be here tonight. But I just like to go on public record and always say a resounding thank you, because they are a very supportive board. And without their support, I could not do what I do effectively. So, and they are a volunteer board, and they are very committed and dedicated. And so I just would like to say publicly, thank you.
So,
But
Ms. Narcisse?
Question, who writes your grants?
I do. I do. Part of my responsibility as executive director is to write grants, to seek additional funding. What a lot of people don't realize is that as a council on aging, because the needs of our seniors are so vast, we have numerous opportunities to grow beyond where we are. And so in my nearly 12 years, we have pretty much been sustaining. Within the last 6 years, we have really gained momentum, and our hope and goal is to continue to gain momentum and to begin to add more programs and services to what we do. During the pandemic, we began to see a rise in our senior homeless population. And so these are some of the things that we need to begin to look at, and some of the partnerships that we may even be able to begin to form so that we can help meet those needs. We have seniors that outside of what we provide, they're looking for water, bottles of water, things that we take for granted every day. They're looking for ways to supplement their menus. They're looking for adult diapers and things like that. And so we are able to get some donations in to help meet that need. But many of our seniors, they will call us to get on the meals program, but then when the case managers go out, they realize that the homes are dilapidated and they're in need of housing, or they're in need of groceries daily. There's always a bigger need than what they're asking for. And so as a council on aging, we're trying to press through to help meet more of those needs. As the parish president pointed out, we are all aging, and unless we pass away, we're going to continue to age. We won't be able to avoid that. And so those needs continue to grow, and we need to find a way to help meet them.
Mr. Alexander?
Oh, this question is reference to the cash fare. Okay, they have to have cash on it, no check or card.
They can now, the drivers are not equipped to take a card, but they can write a check. They can write a check. So anyone who pays a fare, they're given a gold envelope, and they must put that fare in that gold envelope before they get on the vehicle. Those who are 60 and older do not pay a fare, but we do ask that if they're able to, that they give a $2 donation. So every service that we provide is at no cost to our seniors. However, when it comes to meals, transportation, homemaking, we ask that if they can, that they try to give at least a $2 donation. And that is what we call program income. And that's something that we have to reflect in our budgets every year. If they cannot give it, we cannot deny them a service. We would never deny them a service, but we do make it available, and we do inform them that if they can, we would accept the donations.
I said, well, good thing. And you did say they get the brown envelope from the driver?
Yes, so when the drivers get their logs each day, when the rides are scheduled, our transportation coordinator indicates on that log who has to pay a cash fare.
I always
Yes.
clear.
So, and then when that person, before they get on the vehicle, because we don't do anything by credit, we are transit. So if they were riding a public bus, they would have to drop the fare in before they get on. And so that's how we operate as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No other questions? I just got a comment from Ms. Lewis. It just so happened that when I got elected to council, Ms. Lewis started the following year. And so I reached out to, because I think there's two groups of people in this parish that depend on us as middle-class working people, and is our youth. And we do programs for our youth with baseball and recreationals. And when I reached out to Ms. Lewis, we sat in a room and we looked at the books, and she showed me her numbers, and she said, this is where I'm at. I like to see the books today, because from when that day when we looked at it, we were struggling. And you brought a lot of resources and valuable people and put good people on your board, and you moved this program forward, and I commend you for it. I tell this story to a few people. Before I ever got into politics, I own a lawn care business, and I had a customer, and she was a very proud woman, and her husband passed away. And she was 83 years old, and she lived in a home by herself, and she had one daughter that didn't live in this area. And her daughter wanted to put her in the nursing home because she had forgot the gas on the stove on a couple of times. They feared for her mom staying by herself. And I reached out to her at that time with Sydney May Duron. Sydney was our representative. I reached out to her, and she said, Chris, she says, we can help us. There's a program, Meals on Wheels. And every day they provided that lady with a hot meal. She died. She was 96 years old. She died at home. She lived all those years, and she lived proud, and she was able to fend for herself. She wasn't a burden to anybody. She didn't have to go to a nursing home. She was healthy enough to stay home. And that one meal gave her all that time, and it provided a good service. So you and your staff and your board, what y'all do for the elderly people in this parish, Mr. Delkin's right, we're all on that train. We're all going to be there sooner or later. Hopefully, some of us might live to be a little bit older and have to go through that. So it's a great service y'all provide, and thank y'all for what y'all do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mr.
Item 2, Parish President Pete Delcom to present a proclamation to the family of Buck Barra.
Mr. Delcom?
I was honored and asked to, this proclamation was read, the Buck Barra Memorial. It's been done a few years in parks, and in this past year was done in the Catahoula Park with great success. I knew Buck, not very good, but I did know him. And as I had said in Catahoula when I gave the proclamation, his passing was grieved by the community. And what has transpired since the good Lord took him away was the kindness and the generosity that the community has shown because of who he was. His program and what these individuals have done, Mr. Logan, Mr. Durand, Mr. Louvier up here, and a number of others, is to help the families and to help the children of those individuals who the good Lord has taken prematurely, helping them with schooling, with scholarships, with in the amount of over $250,000 in 4 short years. Everything that you worry about when you give a donation as to where the money's going. You don't have to worry about this with the Buck Barra donation. It goes to the kids. It goes to where it needs to go. Totally self-sufficient, totally voluntary, and the money's going to where it needs to go. To the children in these communities who have lost a father or a mother, a provider, and this is just in a small way in which that these individuals have come together to honor Buck and to pass this on to those children in need. So with no further words, I'd like to read the proclamation. Whereas Buck Barra was a lifelong resident of St. Martin Parish, who is known throughout the community for his generosity, kindness, and ability to make everyone feel like family. And whereas Buck was a devoted father, friend, and community member whose infectious laugh, compassionate spirit, and love for others left a lasting impact on all who knew him. And whereas following Buck's passing on July 6, friends and family came together to honor his life by establishing the Buck Barra Memorial Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to continuing his legacy of helping others. And whereas the Buck Barra Memorial Foundation provides scholarships to students in the Acadiana area who have lost a parent and are pursuing higher education, offering hope and opportunity to the young people during some of the most difficult times of their lives. And whereas through the support of the community, in just 4 short years, the Buck Barra Memorial Foundation has awarded over $260,000 in scholarships to 96 students, creating a lasting and meaningful impact on families across Acadiana. And whereas the anniversary of Buck's passing on July 6th is not observed as a day of mourning, but rather as a day to celebrate the legacy he left behind and the lives that continued to be positively impacted through the work of the foundation created in his honor. And whereas Buck's spirit of generosity and compassion continues to live on through the work of the Buck Barra Memorial Foundation, and the many students whose futures have been strengthened because of his legacy. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, St. Martin Parish President Pete Delcom, does hereby officially declare July 6, 2026 as the Buck Barra Memorial Day in St. Martin Parish, and encourage all citizens to recognize and celebrate the lasting legacy of Buck Barra and the positive impact his life continues to have on our community. Thus issued under the official signature and seal of St. Martin Parish government on this 21st day of March, 2026. 2026. Thank y'all very much. Thank you, Buck. I know you're looking down on this and with a smile on your face, and we will not forget you, and we will continue your legacy. Thank you very much.
Ms. Narcisse?
It wouldn't even be right. Buck wouldn't even approve if I wouldn't even speak up on this. Buck was and still is a part of my family. Buck and my husband was best friends. And, I think many of us do strive to get to the point where our work will speak for us. And with this foundation and his legacy, and I'll mention Logan because I know Logan, but I know there's a lot of other people connected to it, is that his work is definitely continuing to speak because that's who Buck was. Buck was a person of full of laughter and just helping all and any that he could. So I'm excited to be a part of it. We miss him dearly, and I thank the parish for the president for submitting to this.
Thank you, Ms. Narcisse. Mr. Alexander, you have something?
I just want to ask one question is your family is the one that had the race horses in Catahoula?
The Verrettes.
Race horses?
Race horses? Yes, sir. Rodney Verrett.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
I've been to his house a couple of times.
Okay.
When you had the race horses.
Yeah,
I was just wondering, it's been quite a few years.
definitely.
Okay.
But I just really want to thank everybody. Thank Mr. Pete, Hoyt, Tangi, and the whole board for helping us make this happen. Something that's so small means the world to us. When we started this thing, our goal was to raise enough money to give one scholarship away. We never thought it would grow like this. In the first year, we had raised like $60,000, and we were like, what do we do with all this money? So with that being said, I just really want to thank y'all, thank the community for continuing to support us. We're going to continue doing this, and I made a promise to Buck's mom when we started this thing is that I will make sure, as long as I'm alive and able and people are still donating, we're going to keep Buck's legacy alive. Because where this thing is special is there's people around in this community that didn't know Buck before he passed, but now when they hear Buck's name, they still know him. So it's like he's still here, you know. So we're just gonna keep helping these young kids who have went through what Buck's kids have went through to continue moving forward and go and get a higher education. So with that being said, I heard you say that you were on the board of SLCC. So currently, right now, our scholarship applications are open. They are closing April 30th, so just in a few days. But our scholarships are for any high school graduating seniors or current college students from the Acadiana area who have lost a parent. You can get our scholarship one time. We don't turn down an applicant as long as you can send us all the proof that's on our application. We require like death certificate and all of that just to verify everything, but we do not turn down an applicant. The amount of money we give all just depends on how much money we raise. We take the chunk of change that we raise, we divide it by the amount of applicants we have that year, and that's what they get. Every year, the amount has grown and grown and grown. I think our first year we started at, I think each kid had got about $1,800, and the past year we gave every kid, I want to say it was 28 applicants we had, and or 32, and every one of them got about $3,800. So, you know, it all depends on how much we raise. So our applications close April 30th. You can find our applications on our Facebook page, Buck Barra Memorial Foundation, or they can reach out to me. Ms. Tangi has my number, Hoyt, you know, so please reach out to us. But we just want to continue helping the community. So thank y'all so much for allowing this and making this happen.
Thank you.
It's for St. Martin Parish?
It's Acadiana. So, I mean, we've stretched out. It's, you know, Acadiana is very wide. And so the past few years we started going on the news, and it's, you know, every year we see the high schools and the colleges from a little further, a little further, a little further. So, you know, with the amount of money we raise, we just want to help as many kids as we can.
And thank y'all for what y'all doing. Commend you for what you do. We camp. We have campers and stuff when we go camping. We ain't camping at a campground. And the people that are camping next to said, hey, man, y'all got a potato cook over there in St. Martin Parish. I said, yeah. They said, y'all do that cornhole tournament? I said, yeah. But when y'all did the one at Cajun Heritage, those people from Ponchatoula, they came to that deal because they heard about it. So y'all reach out to a lot of people. A lot of people are hearing about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've gained a huge, great following. And, you know, as long as you have a good cause, and like Mr. Pete said, that is where all our money goes. You know, we don't give to anything else but scholarships to these kids. So, we want people to know where our money goes. And it's hard for us because most things, you know, you can show, hey, this is where your money's going, but we can't prance around all these kids from all around the different parishes saying, hey, this is, you know, so some of the kids we don't even get to meet. I try to go to as many of the high school graduations that allow us to go present the scholarships to them. So, you know, it's kind of tough that we don't even get to meet half these kids, you know, but it's a great honor to be able to do this in Buck's name. So thank y'all very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Poirier.
I'd like to thank you for all what you do for the foundation and all the volunteers. You know, it's a great thing. I'd like to thank all of y'all.
Item 3, discussion of ordinance summary number 15420R, an ordinance setting the millage rates for the tax year 2026.
Any discussion from the council about the rates? Everything's good? All right.
Item 4, discussion of ordinance summary number 15430R, an ordinance authorizing Parish President Pete Delcom to acquire real property rights on behalf of St. Martin Parish government via a right-of-way servitude agreement for Parcel 1, Parcel 2, Parcel 3, and Parcel 4 of that certain plat of survey prepared by Morgan Gudo and Associates attached hereto for the repair of the Aguilard Bridge on Aguilard Road and other matters associated therewith.
This is in my district. This is something that we've been working on for a while. We're just getting the Aguilar Bridge has been on state outfall. So, I see that Mr. Castillo's not here. Ms. Gilbert, you want to come give us the update on it? Just kind of bring the council up to where we at on it?
Right now, we're working with DOTD we actually are getting all the right-of-ways done and to be able to acquire the right-of-ways to get the bridge done is bigger than it was before. they are requiring to have the landowners getting the right to have their property paid for that we're gonna acquire.
So I know we had we had one property owner that was willing, and then we had three others that we were getting in touch with to acquire property right away. That's the three people that we reached out to, that's what we have.
Yes, Muhammad did a donation of his, and then we have 3 other property owners that are do want payment for their property.
Right, so once this is completed and we get all the property rights to be able to do this and all, we have a timeline about when we're gonna be starting this project?
They're hoping to start probably in about between July and August.
Okay,
Yeah, as soon as we get all this, I talked to DOT today, and that's what they're
July,
looking for.
August this year.
Yeah, they're hoping to get it done by August, start letting the program out by August.
All right, Mr. Alexander?
To find out, what is the dimension for parcel 1, 2, 3, and 4?
The dimensions?
Mr. Delcom, can you answer that question then?
Well, the dimensions, it's, you have the bridge, you have the servitudes of the road, and then, where the banisters or where the guardrails and so forth, all of this had to be procured, all of this had to be, put additionally into the right-of-ways, the properties that entailed and so forth. We had to go to the property owners, and this is what we're talking about here. The numbers have not been solidified as to payment and so forth, but as soon as that occurs, that'll be taken care of. And as Ms. Gilbo just said, within the next couple of 3 months, we're hoping to get construction started to complete the project.
That information should have been in your packet, Mr. That information was emailed to you from the council clerk. It's in your packet.
The attachment to the file I just opened for you.
Or is attached to that? Okay,
Yeah.
well,
They're gonna have the dimensions.
good enough then.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item 5, discussion on the rezoning petition for 1002 Orchard Park Drive, Brobridge, Louisiana, from R2 Mixed Residential to C2 General Commercial.
Ms. Alamo?
The rezoning petition for 1002 Orchard Park Drive came in front of the Planning Commission on April 2nd, 2026, so that was at the beginning of the month. The rezoning was denied by the Planning Commission. The reason for the denial from R2 to C2, the Planning Commission felt that the particular lot that was up for rezoning was surrounded by multiple residential lots. So, as you know, the rezoning petition for this parcel was for the use of additional parking for Andy's Indigo Club. This particular parcel is part of a subdivision, so there is a residential lot on the I'm trying to see it on a map, north side and the west side, and then the east side. Does he know they're on? I hear it, but it's fine. I didn't know if you. It's okay.
No, leave him in.
You can leave it.
Just leave it down like that, leave them in, but you can leave those down, yeah, and then it won't be buzzing.
How about these?
You're good.
Okay. Well, how about now?
We good?
You're fine. It's okay.
We want you to hear.
Yeah, exactly. I want you to hear.
At the dress there, is there a bump somewhere in here?
I just want you to hear, Mr. Vincent. That's all. I'm sorry. So anyway, there's a residential lot to the rear, so it'd be the north and the west side. There's a residential lot, but it is the first parcel of land when you're getting into the subdivision. And then, of course, Mr. Babineau's parcel is to the east side, which is his club. So if you have any questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer them. But we did have residents in the area that were against the rezoning. So any questions for me, I can answer them. Mr. Babineau is here this afternoon to answer any questions that
Mr. Bobbin, you have something you want to say? You want to come to the podium to speak?
he's here.
Turn 64. How much left? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Any questions from the council? From either Morgan or Mr. Bobino concerning?
I'd like to ask a question.
Mr. Corville?
So, Mr. Bobino, when you, and forgive me if I'm not having this information, but you,
Oh, he said Miss Morgan, huh? Or me?
no, you, yeah.
I thought you said Miss
You
Morgan.
just to be clear, you only want to use this area for a parking lot, for the existing business.
Yes, sir.
You're not trying to extend the footprint.
No, sir.
You're not trying to build another bar. You're not trying to have a parking lot party. You just need parking.
Just for commercial
Okay.
parking. And, I mean, I know it's a bar now, but I look at it in the future as a building for different prospects. For instance, my daughter's a school teacher. She's getting ready to retire by another 5 years. There's a good possibility she might turn this building into a tutoring, because now she works with Sullivan, preparing the kids for the SATs and stuff. She might turn that into the building. My son is a barber over in Henderson, next to the Waffle House, Precision Cuts. He might turn that into a barber shop and get multiple seats. It's a ready kitchen. Might use it for a hamburger place later on in life. Additional parking is really going to help the growth of the business, and is going to keep everything within the vicinity because it's together. It's not going to be no outside activities, no patios, no loud music, none of that. It's just going to be for the parking, you know. And then I also have a son that has 18-wheelers. He might decide to move. Right now, he lives in Kansas. He might decide to move back, and then he'll park his trucks on there, you know. That's, I mean, I know I'm trying to figure out what to say to convince you guys. I just don't know what to say other than it's going to be commercial parking. And I mean, and for instance, like a couple of weeks ago, we had a benefit dinner. This guy had cancer, a good friend of mine. That additional parking helped keep the people off the road. Sometimes on the weekends, people have parties at their houses and stuff, or get-togethers at their houses. They're giving for a lot of rain. They'll call me on short notice. Hey, can we use your place of business? Yeah, y'all, come on. That's going to be additional parking to help keep the people on the property and safe and under insurance, because I will have insurance on it if something happens. Do graduation dinners, baby showers, a lot of different things goes on in the club now. But the only thing I could ask y'all is to keep an open mind that it's a building now. It's a commercial building that could be turned into many different things in the near future. It won't always have to be a bar, because as of now, my kids are not interested in the club. None of them helps me in the club. They won't. So, I mean, they can turn it into something else, you know, not retire or whatever. So,
And Morgan, when y'all presented it to P&Z, that was clear that all he was trying to do was have a parking lot, right?
So yes, when he turned in his application and when he spoke to planning and zoning, it was just for a parking lot it was additional parking for his current business. He didn't state anything else to the planning commission, what he just stated just now. And in his petition, it was only for a parking lot, which you all should have in your packets.
I'm good.
Ms. Jean-Baptiste?
Go ahead, Morgan.
I want to add this because maybe I may answer your question. What are we rezoning? R2 to C2. So the current uses in C2 may differ as well from the uses that he's stating right now as well. So I kind of just want to throw that out there. Don't know if that makes any sense or not, but we have to remember he requested only for the use of a parking lot. He didn't request for he requested the use of a parking lot for his club, Andy's in the Glow. He didn't request a parking lot for a school, a barber shop, or anything else like that. So just be mindful of that as well.
So right now, what we're doing is we taking into consideration that the decision made by planning and zoning, and the request was only for a parking lot, and it's to be used only for a parking lot. So if it was to refer to any of the business or something right there, that would change the zoning back, it would defer back to its original state, right? Or if he changes ownership, if he was to put it in his kid's name or something, it would all automatically go back to residential, right?
That would only be if
Stipulation
you
was put in.
would turn over the recommendation from the planning commission, and you as the council would place certain stipulations on Mr. Babineau.
Right, so when they denied, they didn't put any there wasn't any stipulations because it was
No,
denied.
they denied the rezoning petition from this address being rezoned from
But
Oregon.
the common practice that the planning and zoning follows, that anytime he changes ownership or he changes his, whatever it is from a business to another, automatically reverts back to its original state, right?
Yes, so majority of the times when they approve, they can approve the rezoning petition or approve with conditions. And the condition that you're speaking of is,
That's a general practice.
if the current property owner sells, changes ownership, like an act of donation, anything like that, it reverts back to its original zoning. Or if the business type changes or the use changes, it reverts back to its original zoning.
Just for clarification on this, so I can remember this was done quite a few years back. So the Indigo Club actually started off as a cafe, and then we did a variance. Didn't we do a variance to be able to allow from going from a cafe to a bar? But we changed something. We changed something already.
We went from a cafe to a bar.
Right.
He
So it
was
done-
within 300 feet of a residence.
Right, because it was within 300. So all we did was, it was zoned right for the board, but we had to change the variance because of the houses.
Because of the selling of the alcohol. It was within 300 feet of the
300 feet,
residence.
exactly.
Yeah, that's all that was.
Okay. Mayor Jean-Baptiste?
Sorry, Ms. Jean-
So when I'm looking at this picture, so where you have identified as Lot 1, this is where we're trying to do the rezoning? And then the bar is right next to it?
Yes, ma'am. Oops, sorry.
And so my question, is there a fence separating the Lot 1 with the resident? Or is that a fence just behind the bar?
So he does currently have a fence right here.
So across the lot that he's wanting to rezone, going?
That fence is now removed. So
So
you have the
so it would
pictures.
be this one? Wait, let's see.
Okay, he removed that fence that was in between his lot. Okay, yes.
So that fence is removed?
That case, so it's kind of like a little optical illusion. This fence
You,
here.
I don't know if you want to see,
Yeah,
just to kind of,
He can come and just to say yes.
the back,
This fence here.
uh-huh,
Okay, so this fence here was the fence in between him and the club.
okay.
Okay, so you can't see it. Okay, watch, turn. So
You
you can
remove
see
it,
it too.
yes.
And yeah, that fence is gone, the one that was in between him and the club, and he put it here. So there was technically two fences because there's a sewer system in between the neighbor's fence, the longer fence.
Okay, because my question was just that if the club is facing the road and this is the club facing the road and the extra parking is this lot right on the side is facing the roadway? And so I was just wondering, is there a fence or could there even be a fence behind the property to end it, to kind of separate it from where the rest of the subdivision is?
There is.
Yes.
There is a fence
I
there?
just recently redone the fence.
Okay.
I asked the neighbors, I redone the fence, and behind the club, I put up almost a 9-foot fence to help the noise.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go back to the, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes, there was a fence behind the club. The fence that she just showed y'all was just a fence, a temporary fence I had put up because of the sewer system.
Okay,
I didn't want no one to run over the sewer system and damage their cars or anything. There's still a sewer system there, and there's an electric meter there, and there's a water line there. So now the fence that separates my property and the home behind the club, there was always a fence there. I just recently got with the neighbor, and they gave me permission to take the fence down and redo the fence. So behind the club, all the way up to their home, I put up a 9-foot fence, then I went the remaining balance with it of a 6-foot fence. Now, I have been taken down, I used a lot of the material of the divider that I had from the sewer system, but I left where the sewer system is at.
Okay.
Yeah, you took this
I
down.
took part of it down. I left like where the sewer system is at, right? And I just took the planks down for now. That's all I did. Now, this fence back here, I redid all of it. See, that's the fence that separates me now.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
Ms. Narcisse?
I had a better picture if you needed.
Yeah, I see.
Ms. Narcisse?
Okay, y'all kind of answered some of the questions, but, it's just, so I'm gonna say this because it is that this come up. I've been attending some meetings in regards to, back and forth of planning and zoning in different, municipalities. And, just looking at this plan, and it's showing where the club is, and it's showing where the empty lot is, and it's separated due to the records, the plots, but it's combined in our eyes, and if we go there, because there's no fence, and it belongs to the same owner, and it's for a business use, and it just, for me, the growth, the possibility of growth for St. Martin Parish, I'm very passionate about. And I just believe that, and it's been proven that we run into so many bumps when it comes down to planning and zoning. It's like we pushing back on the growth, the development, and not just for the R1 to for the R2 to the C2, but we we need to be looking for the future and not just for today and tomorrow and what it used to be. You know, and I'm speaking to my council, because when we are making these decisions, we need to be making it for the future of the growth of St. Martin Parish, not just for what the party is today. So, as far as we don't control when the inspector comes out, and we know with the building, there's amount of bathrooms you need, there's parking space you need. So we need to evaluate that whole process. And for the individuals that's going up to planning and zoning, before that meeting comes up, they need to be aware of, not coached, what needs to be said, but educated on how this needs to be presented. Because then he already went to planning and zoning. Now he's coming to us and he's saying something else, but 9 out of 10, he had that in his mind when he went there, but he just said parking. So we keep going in circles, and guess what? It delays the progress of the business owners. It delays the money making of us for taxes. It just slows down the process. And I think as a council, I do believe in us. I know that we're strong enough, but we need to see this as it is, and we need to see it towards the future. And however, I want to make a motion. We're not, you could tell Mama I made up one. But yeah, so that's just, it's just,
I think we know where you're coming from.
yeah,
Understand, yeah.
yeah, definitely. Thank y'all.
This chairman calls on you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I would like to say, I appreciate Ms. Narcisse, and I want to thank you, Ms. Morgan, for enlightening me in something else. It was in my mind, basically, like what Ms. Narcisse is saying. I was believing once it would have been commercial, being that my building is commercial, any future developments would have automatically fell under there. But Ms. Morgan just made that clear now. So now I'll have to let my kids know not to make the same mistakes I made. Just jump into something. Call your council first. Check with your council, check with the planning and zoning, and get this future together. And that's, I mean, but if it's commercial, and then I don't think that they're gonna have a problem turning that commercial lot into a barbershop lot or a future restaurant lot or school, for my daughter to do substitute teaching or whatever. And I thank you again, Ms. Morgan, for enlightening me with that, because I didn't know that. I was confused. I mean, wouldn't even say confused, I didn't know. And it's like what Ms. Narcisse just said, we need to be educated on these things.
Mine's just a comment, and it's to the council. There are several subdivision properties with commercial properties in the front. It's like the new inn thing. Of course, this is older subdivision, but this is very popular now. But if you look the way the plat is laid out, they wanted to sell the 4 lots across the front because highway property is evidently worth more money than subdivision property. But where the bar is never was part of the original plat, so the way the lots are numbered. But therefore, it's really not. It's almost not part of the subdivision because of the way the bar is set up. But that's just comments that I'm just observing. Anyhow.
Mr. Alexander?
Oh, Mr. Babineau, I have a couple of questions for you. Recently, you were served some papers from the St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Office. Can you tell us why you were served the papers?
I was never served no papers, sir.
You wasn't served a cease and desist?
No, sir. I was never served some papers.
Mr. Lee, could you tell us, elaborate on that?
We sent one. I didn't check to see if he got it yet. I haven't received it back, but he sent one.
I've not,
Pending the final of the council, there was
Okay, you
one
said you
sent.
wasn't served no papers from the St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Office, okay. The second question that I have for you here is, you've been using that particular property, and it's been upsetting about 40-some residents in that area, but you've been using it, it's a residential lot, and now you're here to ask us to make a commercial, and the residents over there wants to keep it, at all, as a residential. Number one, when you were using the property, did you apply for a permit to use as a parking lot from the parish or from Ms. Morgan Alamo?
no, sir, I did not know that I had.
Okay, all right.
Hold up, but
So go ahead.
Answer the question. I purchased the property from an individual. I did not get the ordinance of the subdivision saying what it could be used and what not could be used. I was under the impression that you have a 300 feet commercial on each side. And I thought maybe the developer had saved that and not went and transferred it over to a residential until I spoke to Ms. Morgan. So, and in the fact that you were my District 7 representative for that area, you and I, we spoke on many, many occasions, and you never mentioned to me about that.
No, that's not true, sir. That's not true what you're saying. Let's go to facts now.
So you,
I don't want to hear anything
so
false.
what?
Let's stick with, hold it.
Well, let's stick with the facts,
Let
yes.
me ask you my questions right now.
Mr. Vince, we either hand out.
Let's stick with facts.
No matter.
Number one, there's a lot of stuff you're saying that's not true. And I don't go for false information. Number one, you had some trail rides on that property. We got it videoed and take pictures. Did you get a permit from the parish for the trail ride?
Mr. Vincent, I don't think that question should be asked here.
Okay, well, hold it. Let me go to this now. Hold it 1 second, Mr. Chairman. We have here where the Planning and Zoning Committee, they all voted against to change that lot from residential to commercial. They voted against it. And it would be kind of ridiculous for us to go against the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Committee. I mean, I'm for whatever the Planning and Zoning Committee is going, I'm going to go for that. And that's what Ms. Alamo just presented to us about the Planning and Zoning Committee is against changing this property from residential to commercial. Another thing, Mr. Eric going to be coming up here right now. There's some active. One thing they were worried about too, people coming on that lot they might start shooting. And where do you think the bullet gonna go at? In the neighborhood? Who's liable for that? Who you think they'll sue? They'll sue the one that's shooting or the property owner? I mean, you have to think about all that, but I'm thinking about the safety of the people who live there, and which Mr. Eric Babineau already presented that to us, which some other people presented that to me. And I'm totally against, changing this property from residential to commercial. Now, if you have something to say, go ahead and say it, sir.
I don't,
All I can ask y'all is to please consider what I said by making this a commercial air lot. It's attached to my business. It would help my business grow. And now I know that any future business got to come through the council. I've been using it for 2.5 years. We haven't even had a fight on that property. Not a fight, not an argument. I went out on my own and I put up signs saying loud noise ordinances. I got the ordinance numbers from Ms. Brooke. I put up no trespassing signs. I put up no loitering signs. I did everything I could to keep it peaceful, and it's working. It's staying peaceful on that lot. People will park, they'll come in the club, they'll get in their car and they leave. When I have a big function, I have a security guard outside making sure that's exactly what's done. He directs them. Either y'all get in your car and leave, or y'all gotta get in the club. We don't loiter. They don't loiter on the property.
any other questions from the council? Thank you, Mr. Babineau.
Thank y'all very much. I appreciate y'all.
Item 6, consider the adoption of an ordinance providing for the lease purchase of one Caterpillar 12014 motor grader.
Mr. Delcom, you have anything you want to bring to this?
Well, we go on a 5-year lease with all of our major equipment. We have one motor grader that is at the end of its 5-year lease. This is just a continuation, picking up a new motor grader, the same conditions that we did before. So this is just conventional.
Thank you. I think Mr. Babineau has a forum to speak on the next one that's coming up.
You turn it in? Okay, well.
It wasn't on this one.
We haven't gotten to that part yet. This one was for planning and zoning. The one for Orchard Park is gonna be coming up
I
specifically.
thought he was gonna do, he's against the, that one also for the,
But
But we,
that's coming.
yeah,
we
that's
haven't
coming
gotten
up,
to
so,
that issue.
yeah.
Item 7, consider the adoption of an ordinance prohibiting the parking of motor vehicles on either side of Orchard Park Drive located in District 7.
Mr. Alexander, you put this on the agenda, you want to speak about it?
Do what, sir?
You asked to have this put on the agenda, is something you want to speak about?
Number 7, okay. Yes, this is the one, like I said, this all started when, Mr. Eric Babineau called me to tell me that they were blocking driveways and urinating in his ditch, and his wife and daughter sitting under try to cook a barbecue under the carport, and so he approached Mr. Andrew, which I think they're first or second cousins, and Mr. Eric Babineau is here. He said when Andrew told him that, Andrew told him put a fence so your wife and daughter can't see it. So what I did was I contacted Brooke, our clerk, and Brooks told me that we would have to get, the dimensions, and then we'd also would have to send Jason Castile to check it out, who is the public works director. Jason Castile went there. The only thing Eric wanted was no parking sign in front of his property. That's all. He wasn't concerned about all Orchard Park. Jason Castile sent an email to Brooke and told Brooke that we couldn't do it just for 1 or 2 residents. I had to do it for the whole street, both sides. Brooke sent me the email, and I read, and I told Brooke, if Jason Castile recommends that, then I'm going with what the Public and Works Director recommends. And I emailed it to Brooks. I didn't call her on the phone, so she got a record of it, and I got a record of the information from Jason Castillo. So then it went a little further. It kept going even deeper. Then we had to do a petition. All this shouldn't have been gone this far right here. That should have been settled months ago or weeks ago. But I'm not going to go into all the particular details. All I'm saying is that the majority of the people on Orchard Park want some no parking signs this year. Some of them said that when they had the trail ride, they couldn't even come out of their yard. The trail ride with the trailers and all that had the driveway blocks. Is that living in peace? It's not living in peace. And like I said, they're asking right now is they don't want people blocking their driveway. And you know the rest of the story. So I support the people at Orchard Park. Those that don't want no parking sign, I support them. And this is what this is about right now. Number seven, consider the adoption of an ordinance prohibiting parking of motor vehicles on either side of Orchard Park Drive, located in District 7, which is the district that I represent. And that's it. If somebody else has something to say, you're welcome to come say. But the people, they want peace of mind. And you don't want to come out of your driveway, then they got you blocked, especially at night. Then you get into an argument, the next thing you know is pow, 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 pow. You can't block my driveway, pow, 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 pow. That's all that's going on today, and they don't want that in their neighborhood. They want to live in peace. They have children. They have families. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay, Mr. Eric Bobino, you have something you want to speak on this? Okay, fill out a request to speak form.
Good evening, y'all.
Evening.
That's on the signs you're asking about, right? Okay, well, I did want the signs because of what happened. They made it look like if there wasn't a big deal, but it was. To me, with my wife and my kids outside. We got into an argument, and he did like he blew it off. And then I got with Mr. Andrew to ask him to do something about his customers parking on the side of the shoulder. And I didn't get no response from him until 3 days later about doing something about it, saying that I should have just called the cops and stuff. So that's the reason I'm on it, because I don't want to have no trouble with people. And I'm a quiet person. I'm to myself, but it's all about the respect in the front of my house.
Just to be clear, for you, when you drive into Orchard Park, his club and parking lots on the right-hand side, you would be directly on the left?
The first house across.
House on the left? Okay. Yeah,
What's his name?
Mr. Bobino.
Mr. Babino, question. I know when we were talking with Mr. Jason advised with the sign, are you aware that if they put no parking signs, that means even if you're having guests over at the home, that they won't be able to park as well?
I'm very aware of it. I got
Okay.
plenty of room to park in my yard, so.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we well informed. Okay.
Miss Patricia George?
Hello. I'm back again. We was granted for the no parking signs. I don't know how it came back to this again, but, everybody, the resident of Orchard Park still does not want it. I don't know what more to say, but
Just not to be clear, for clarification, you do live in Orchard Park?
yes, I live in Orchard Park.
Ms. Narcisse, you can,
Signs.
We do not want it.
You came the last time with the petition.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
and the people that had signed the petition, those were people that lived in Orchard Park also?
Correct. Everybody lives in Orchard Park. They would have had a few more, but some people were still at work. Like my dad was there the last time. He drives transportation. He wasn't able to make it. But I feel they probably would have had a lot more people. dealing with school, different activities that they have going on with their kids, but
You remember how many people had signed the petition?
it was
30-something.
maybe 40-something, maybe. It was a lot.
Yeah, I remember, I was just.
Everybody's against it. I mean, they have some people that don't have like the yard to park,
Yeah.
so they have to park on the side. You know,
Where at in Orchard Park do you reside?
more in the middle.
In the middle? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Rachel Noel?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I don't think they should have the signs either, because I don't have a big piece of property. Prime example, my grandmother passed away, like maybe 5-6 months ago. And guess what? The event was held at my house because she didn't want to make it at hers. So think about it. If it couldn't have been held at my house, we probably would have never had that memory because of the parking. Because I don't have a lot of yard.
And to be clear, so you do live on Orchard Park?
Yes, I live like maybe 4 houses away from the club.
On the same
Further
side as the
down.
club?
Yes, and I don't have any problems. If they ask me to park, they ask me to park. They don't just park in front of my house. So,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
Danielle?
Hello.
Hi.
I live at 1062 Orchard Park, and I feel we shouldn't have the parking signs.
Can you tell us about, from the club, how far back are you from?
You,
Halfway, further down?
yeah, I mean, like in the middle.
The middle? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Got something you want to add?
Orchard Park, Kiwi, and Apple Street, that's all a part of it, because that was all in the petition.
Okay. Mr. Corbett, you had something you wanted to bring up, you said?
Well, I just want to, and I know Mr. Bobby wants to speak, but what, kind of to make everybody's point, and Mr. Vincent, is that, you know, when we talk about doing a no parking down the street, they're correct, it has to be all or nothing. I definitely understand Mr. Eric's situation with living right across from the club and not wanting that to happen. Totally get it. But as a council, we have to look at what the neighborhood wants. And I sat here and 3 different meetings was on the agenda. The only people who came, these people, were opposed. We voted on it, it passed, then Mr. Eric came. And not taking away from you, I understand. But we went on with the basis of the residents wanted, which is how we should vote. You know, the way they want it in their neighborhood. My issue now is if we don't do the no parking, because it looks like the majority of the residents want the no, you know, they don't want no parking signs. And then let's go back to item number 5. And we don't allow Mr. Bobby No to have parking behind his club. I mean, what are the other options? That's the way I look at it. I'm just looking at it from a practical sense. I hate to be morbid, but if you think you have people peeing in your yard now, let's close his parking lot, you know? So I don't understand. I think we're kind of fighting them on both directions here. We need to figure out what makes the most sense.
That's the first thing Chris ever said that made sense.
Mr. Alexander, you have something? Mr. Alexander? You got to turn your mic on. Look.
All this.
All right.
It's me?
Yeah.
Okay, all this started when they had the trail rise. He said he been using that property, that parking lot for, he told me 2 years. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But he never had a complaint about him using it before, even though he was using it illegally, because it's residential and he was using it as a commercial parking lot. When Mr. Babineau, Eric Babineau came to me, he was there, people was complaining about them blocking their driveways, urinated in the ditch in front of their family and wife and daughters. And that's when the problem came in. Because those that was parking, blocking their driveway with horse trailers and everything. Some of them told me they couldn't even come out of the yard. So you understand where I'm coming from? And this is why I support this 100+% for the no parking signs. Because this is what the people is asking for over there, even though Mr. Corville, even though Eric and his wife, and I think Mr. Herman Alexander and his wife came, maybe 4 or 5, they did go to the Planning and Zoning Committee, right, Ms. Morgan? They did go to the Planning and Zoning Committee, and I'm actually to come back and just mention those that was at the Planning and Zoning Committee that's against, that is for the no parking signs. Now, if you, let's say you were living in Orchard Park, and you'd come out, you want to come out of your yard, they got a block with a horse trader. What would you do? Go back in the house, wait till they leave, or will you start complaining? You need to think about this. And like I said, this has been going long enough. And let me say one thing. If this was in a white neighborhood, it would have been done. This is a black neighborhood, that's why it's gone that long. I don't want to go to all them Ross there for, racial thing. But them people there, they're 99% black. They got one white person that lives in that, right behind the club. And if they have, you don't have an opportunity to come to the mic, ma'am. I'm talking right now.
Mr. Vincent,
When you want to talk, come to the mic, they'll recognize you. What I'm trying to say is, this been going too long. And it's a bad image on the St. Martin Parish Council to begin with. St. Martin Parish Council need to show the public that we're strictly business. We don't try to play games, And I hate to see that the parish, the council is the way the parish is doing with the council. It's making the council look bad. We've been going too far with this. It's time to bring it to an end. Okay, now you can come to the mic. No, he has to address it. Not
no, hold up.
Still at the floor right now or no?
Mr. Corville, you still have the floor.
But you got to look at it both ways. I understand their point.
I understand that point.
So what happens? Okay, we say we got to take care of the people. So what happens when they having Christmas and New Year's at their house and we towing vehicles because there's no parking? That don't affect them?
Well, those that can't park in the yard, they could go to Red Post, Cecilia, or that place at Cecilia Civic Center, or they could go to Poches, rent the hall, or they can go to Kate, the one in Kate, to rent the hall. But the thing is, we're looking for safety here, not blocking roads. That road is too narrow to have vehicles park on the road to begin with. Did you ever go visit that road? It's very narrow. Once you park one vehicle on the road, you get on one side. So that means if there's someone parked here, they have to go around. Suppose they have some children crossing the street. You understand? The road is too narrow for parking on there to begin with. So I'm looking for safety. Amusement comes last. Safety comes first. I'm looking for the safety of the children and the residents that live there. That's what I'm concerned about. And like I said before, this wouldn't be going this long if there was a white neighborhood. It would have been over already. And I'm not happy. I'm sure not happy with this. So y'all go ahead on now.
Point of order, Mr. Vincent. That's like all for. Ms. Narcisse, you have a comment, Ms. Narcisse?
I'm glad I missed that.
Hold up, Mr. Babineau.
Mr. Babineau, hold on.
Let's just hold up. Ms. Narcisse, you have the floor.
Okay, so I just want to present that to the council that as of today, we have no complaints. If we go through safety, we have no complaints from the sheriff department when activities took place in that area, as we know of, on record. So we have to go on that it has been safe because they haven't had any complaints, as we know of today, on record. And
Ed for you.
Go ahead and add, because I didn't.
I think also too, where she's coming from, because what I was advised, even when that situation and that riot occurred, there was a breakdown in that whole process insofar as, supervision from the sheriff department with permits and just a whole lot of complexity that didn't follow the protocol. And so I think since from that, and divvying up the responsibilities of this trail ride happening when it should have been in another area and we trying to help out. Since then, well, I haven't heard of any concerns, and I think that's where you were going with that?
That's where I was going with that event, but just to maybe reach to Mr. Vincent that on the record, as we know of, there hasn't been any complaints. I've never attended personally an event there. I don't necessarily know the area, but there's nothing on record for the safety. And for the safety, yes, we have to be, we want to have common sense of safety, but the safety, we have a department for that we don't even, you might know because you've been in law enforcement, but we don't know. I wouldn't want to take that on because I definitely want to call 3071 fast, like let them handle it. So, just if that's the aspect, I'm more of seeing businesses grow, especially if the opportunity is there. And even with the parking, so when I first hit my thing, with the no parking signs, I understand that our public works supervisor said it was an all or none. My question to the council, or to Leah, is that a black and white rule that we have that we follow? Is that is that a statute, or it's just something that we roll with as the parish government?
So, Change, I can answer that question. So that's no, because we had it in my area where we had problems with trail rides, and we did no parking signs only on certain parts of the road. We didn't do the whole subdivision.
Okay, so even.
So if we wanted, so we don't have to do the whole road.
So that's where we come in as a
Right.
council, and you as I ain't gonna say older, a veteran council member, those things have taken place, and it has worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
It has,
Okay.
it's done, and so you gotta find that happy medium. And I think where we're going right here with this right here, we have two different situations with two different problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can resolve them, because to your point, I agree with you, what you're saying, and I also agree with Mr. Corville, what he's saying. Because if we take away his parking lot, they're
Didn't
gonna go
work.
park on Archer Park,
That's right.
because they have nowhere else to park. So, and we don't wanna block people's parking lots. From what I'm looking at is, and this is just my train of thought and my ideas, is if we were to rezone his parking lot and you let him allow it to have it to do his parking, we could put some stipulations in there. One stipulation could be that it could be only used for parking and nothing else, and it would revert back to its original description if it would change ownership or change business occupation. Another thing we can do is to help Mr. Bobby know with his situation with the, well, and I understand where you're coming from, because we had the same issue on La Chile Road and Zizin Road with the trail rides when we had them there. We could do no parking sign. You could do 300 feet, or you could do the first two behind that want the no parking. You could do Mr. Bobino's house and the next home if they want it. You could do just those areas to eliminate the parking, and it would solve those issues, where we'd have no parking signs in front of their homes, and these people wouldn't be affected because it wouldn't affect them because they live further down. So if, let's say, the first 4 residents on each side of the road wanted no parking signs, would you think that's a fair statement, Mr. Bobino? You think the first 4 would want it?
I can't speak for the rest. I mean, for me, I can say I can use them, but I'd rather have it to where it's no parking lot. I mean, it's just more people you have right there that's gonna go back and forth anyway.
Well, if we don't have a parking lot, they're gonna park in Orchard Park. Right now, we voted last time not to put the parking signs because of the people that
He told
came.
me, if they do crazy stuff like that, just call the sheriff department.
Right. But I'm trying to eliminate that problem to where we don't have to call the sheriff's office. We respect your privacy and give you that privacy. I think we could do the no parking signs on your side of the road up to, well, if the neighbor next to you wants them, we could do that. If the neighbors behind the club would want him right there, the first couple of them, we could do that part. We could do just that side. That would give the no parking signs, and it would eliminate the parking there. The parking lot, Ms. Narcisse brought up a good point a while ago. These people are conducting business. Mr. Bobino hasn't had, that we know of, we hadn't had any issues until this one trail ride came in. And there was some issues with the trail ride because I don't think there was just problems with it. They blocked parking lots and all that, driveways. So I think if we did, if just a consideration, that if we did allow him to rezone, put a privacy fence to where it would block you off, and you would have, it would help, the parking on your side. Plus, we made that area no parking on the first 200, 300 feet of the houses there. You catch the first 2 on each side. I think that would eliminate the problem, and it would address their issues, because I see their point, because I went back there, and I went right, look at it, and I went on different occasions when Mr. Bobino was having his events at his club, and I drove in one night in the parking lot, and the parking lot was full, and he had both parking lots, and when I drove in, there was a guy outside, he said, "Are you staying or are you parking?" I said, "No, I'm just staying." He said, you gotta leave, you can't stay. So there was no issues with it, but I think there's a happy medium. I think if we did the no parking signs on both sides, 300 feet, allowed him to rezone to be able to do his parking lot, it would cover his club. He has been operating. He didn't do, I don't think he intentionally, illegally did anything. I think it was an error on his part, because I've seen this happen many times when I hear people coming here for a rezoning thing, and they'll come up to us and they say, "Look, we just didn't know." We have people now that have to come and everything. You want to build a trailer house, put a trailer house on a commercial piece of property, you still got to get it rezoned. We do, well, man, quite a few. So these people, it's not that they're doing stuff intentionally, they just didn't know. But then when they come back and all, then we have to work with the people to try to help and see. I think that would be a good fix. I think it's just something that we consider, where it would accommodate their need to be able to use the parking on the side of the road for when they have stuff. It would eliminate the parking in front of your house. A privacy fence on his side would take care of that issue with the club and the noise or whatever, whatever's going on. And it would stop the people from parking there. And then it would eliminate the possibility of them using Orchard Park as their entrance and exit, because then they would have to use 31, because it would be the only available entrance and exit would be on 31. That's something that we could consider.
So that's what you actually saying, is putting a fence all along Orchard Park on that side?
It would be the parking lot where his parking lot is. If he was to put a fence there between your property, well, between the road and his parking lot. If he had a fence there, he could only park in that designated area where the fencing would be fenced in. They wouldn't be allowed to park on the opposite side, because we could make that a no parking area just on that portion of the road, where it would be in front of your house, your neighbor's house, and whoever wants it behind. And then we wouldn't affect their rights to be able to use their parking lot, their parking spaces in front of their house on the road. That would give them access to their properties. And because the road, I understand what Mr. Vincent's saying about the road being narrow. Mr. Vincent, that road is no narrow, it's the same width as every parish road we have. Every parish road we have is that width.
The concern I got, Mr. Chairman, is that these people is tired with what's going on on that dead-end street. It shouldn't be used to accommodate a club to begin with.
But we can't change that fact, Mr. Alexander, because it was zoned to be able to allow a club there.
Yeah, but that's what, Ms. Morgan just came to the podium right here, and she said the committee voted all against the rezoning.
Right, and I understand that, but what I'm saying is we got two different situations with the no parking signs and people wanting to be able to use their property.
Yeah, let me
Some
answer your
people
question.
Not wanting.
Let me answer that. Mr. Eric Bamino already said, let them put signs, those that want it, those that don't want the sign, then they won't put signs in front of those that don't want. He only said, put it in front of those that want signs.
And I think that's what I just offered.
Huh?
That's what I just explained, that how they could be done that way.
Well, that's what he been asking for that too. But they don't want that parking. They want that lot that he got, they want it to stay residential, sir. They don't want it to be turned into commercial.
Orchard Park.
For you to, what you are recommending that against the Planning and Zoning Committee is to accommodate Andrew Babineau and to go against Eric and about 40 other people on there. They don't want the residential lot, which is residential, they don't want it turned to commercial. Number one, like I said before, next thing you know, there'll be some shooting going on, like Mr. Babineau said. Vincent, next thing you know, there'll be shooting in my house. So I'm asking y'all again to give this, to sleep overnight on it, so that when we come back in, next month, May the 5th, to vote on it, you have a clear mind. I'm asking you to consider the lives of the people there that lives there, and all that. He was doing good. He got a parking lot already. So he already have a parking lot. He's been operating there for years. Why want to attach one that's in a residential area to make another parking lot? So this is all I got to say for right now. But the thing is, I'm not happy with how the parish council is doing right now is treating them poor people over there in Orchard Park. The way the parish council is considering, I'm not happy with that at all, sir.
Ms. Narcisse, you have something you want to say?
I do. So, see this to make sure? Okay. So I'm gonna flip my hat, because we all wear many hats. So now I'm counsel, but I'm gonna put my realtor hat on. If this property is residential, and there's a club, it ain't selling. It's just gonna be, if it's not used for parking, it's not who's buying it, who can sell it, who's building. Yeah, I understand that, but we're talking about the property, that property. I'm not talking about.
Residential lot.
Yes, I'm not talking about the club and the property that's attached to the club. That's commercial. That's good to go. I'm talking about the property that's before the club, that went before planning and zoning, is now zoned as residential. Okay? So what I'm saying is that, with all respect, I flip my hat and I put on my realtor hat. That property would be so hard, if possible, to sell because it's next to a club. So as a councilwoman, are we looking for growth of St. Martin Parish? Are we looking for the future? What are we looking for? Because guess what? We can't put that land on the list to go clean. And we don't even want to take it in because we don't want to be part of the real estate community. That's what we said previous, sitting down up here. We taking on too much. We have a third party that's selling properties for us. We don't have the manpower to go clean it if they just leave it there because y'all don't want to work with me to do something with it that could make some money and help me do this. So guess what? I'm not making no money. I'm not cleaning it. Then what? The parish can't clean it. Then we get the whole Orchard Park and everybody connected, the grass out of there. We know who own it, but we can't make them.
Yeah, but.
I'm just saying and I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm just trying to present some things that we've addressed before.
You all miss, the point that I'm trying to stress is, before that lot that he said he purchased, that lot was a residential, there was a double-wide mobile home on that lot.
Mm-hmm.
Then the people that had it, they sold it, so there was just an empty lot. And if someone wants to come with something else on it, it's still residential. And the main thing is, if you want to use it commercial, you don't use it for almost 2 years, and then you're gonna tell me, it's just like somebody come here, I didn't know that little girl was 16 years old, that's why I was dating her. I mean, you're supposed to know what you're doing if you're in business. You shouldn't have used that lot to begin with without a permit. You know what I'm saying? You should have had a permit.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm gonna say this as a council. I can sit up here and I can tell you that as a council member, we don't even have an idea of how many Airbnbs are in our parish. And guess what? They are not even permitted. They're in residential areas, in HOA associations, they're in those homes, and Airbnbs are taking place. And as a council, we don't even have an idea.
I understand.
I got something to say about that.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
Okay, coming back to you. Okay, You're saying that they wouldn't sell that lot, right? Okay,
I'm saying there's a great possibility.
Right, okay, so that make it look like our value would drop because we're close to the club too.
Yeah.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that's not what we want.
Well, we can't move the club.
No, well, yeah, why not? It was moved there after Orchard Park was there.
So we move the club?
Well, I mean, you want us to lose value on our place, so
No, but I'm talking about the present now.
Right.
So the
That's
club
what I'm
is
saying,
there. The club has been
but
granted.
if you turn that and you say they can't sell that property, this property can't.
Okay,
So
that property.
What we gonna do with our home value if we try to sell because of the club? Then nobody won't want to buy the price for it.
And then what you gonna do if the property stays vacant and they stop tending to it?
Well, 9 out of 10 won't stay vacant because somebody gonna end up looking for somewhere to live.
Who's gonna sell it?
Before Mr. Bobino bought it, what condition the property was in? Was it nuisance property?
Well, they had somebody living there.
But once that person moved out, the lot was maintained and kept up?
Well, they had a little grass, and then some kind of way, he got a call, the guy that had the property, saying that, well, man, you need to do something with the property because people are complaining because of the grass.
And nuisance.
Which the grass wasn't tall. You know what I'm saying? But it was just the point that we were trying to find out who it was so he can get it cut. And they said if he had to go with the parish, that the parish would have to cut it and then it would send them a bill or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how he ended up getting persuaded to sell the property.
And Ms. Narcisse's point she's trying to make right there, that the property is gonna be hard to sell because it's next door to a club. The club was always zoned as commercial property, so they never had to rezone the property for the club. The club was always zoned. They gave him a variance 11 years ago. Gave him a variance because it was for this liquor sales for ballroom, and it was right next door to, it was within 300 feet. But the zoning of the bar was always zoned right for a commercial, so they have never rezoned the bar to be a bar. It was within the zoning to be a bar. So I just wanted to clear that up, make that clear. Mr. Louviere, you have something you wanna?
I would just be repeating. So I'm a pass.
Mr. Delcom?
Yeah, well, if everything's been cleared in regards to this, I just had a couple of things that I wanted to mention. Certain things were said that is inclusive with administration, okay? And I just wanted to touch on that. One was the trail ride. So the trail ride that was in question that started all this was initiated back in August of last year. And then they had a rain, they canceled it, and then it was pushed to the next date, which was when all of this happened, okay? It was not organized to have that ride to Mr. Babineau's place. I got in touch now. It includes both our planning and zoning department. She did all of her due diligence, all documentation. It involves the sheriff's department. They did all of their documentation. I followed up after the incident and made sure that we had all of our ducks lined up. I followed up with the sheriff's department. They did have a trail ride. It did occur where it was initially put on paper. There were sheriff's department individuals with that trail ride. Now, what happens after the trail ride? Where these people go after the trail ride, we have no control over. But the trail ride did occur and did occur in a proper manner at the location that was designated in writing. Okay, so that being said. Now, what happened after that is not a parish concern unless, okay, the sheriff's department called out by individuals because of whatever. The cease and desist. It was issued, Mr. Durio issued it. He said normally it's a 1 to 2 day process. It was issued last Monday, so we had assumed by Monday or Tuesday, the cease and desist would have been in the hands of Mr. Babineau, okay? He's saying that he never received it. He sent it certified. This is the normal protocol, Mr. Durio, that we normally take. So there was a cease and desist sent out by Mr. Durio, certified. If it wasn't received by Mr. Babineau, we will follow up on it, but that did occur, just for the record. Parking signs. I did look into, and I got Mr. Jason Castile to look into the locations of these parking signs in the event that that's the direction that you want to go. The DOTD that controls this is very vague. All they give is the location according to the road, whether it's a state road, a parish road. It needs to be so many feet off of the road, so many feet. They dictate that, but they don't dictate the numbers. And as you had said, Chairman, there is some flexibility for the individuals to do it as it needs to be done according to what's trying to be achieved. Okay, so I think that would answer your question. There's not, the DOTD does not brutally oversee this thing. This is for the individuals, the parish, to determine what is needed in this situation. And I think that's the direction that the parish has taken in the past. So anyway, in regards to the administration, these things are something under my umbrella, and I just thought I'd want to, just elaborate so that y'all have some understanding.
Mr. Meloson?
How many is the club, how often is it open?
Mr. Bobby, now you want to come to the podium? You next up to speak anyway, so.
Is it every Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Is it only on
So
certain?
basically, if I get a party or I get a recommendation, like we
Okay.
had a couple of Zydeco bands came, and it's like I said earlier, sometimes people have things at their home on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and they're getting rained out, and they'll call me, hey, we want to move our little get-together to your club, and I tell them, y'all come on, you know.
Okay.
And-
And understand me well, it's not I say this often because I don't want people to think I'm trying to set them up and a got you thing. I just, didn't know.
Yeah.
I live in town, in the city of Breaux Bridge, and there's a party that's fixing to happen week after next. And where I live, there's going to be one way in and almost no way out. It's across the street from Park Hardy. It's the Crawfish Festival. And I'm not sure how that would work. I really don't know, and I would lean on our legal counsel to kind of guide. And I want to open up a can of worms, but this happens once a year, obviously. But there's a temporary, I'm going to call it ordinance for parking that takes place because where I live, it's from me to across the street from Park Hardy. And they put up no parking signs by temporary ordinance. And Lee, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to step out of line here. Since you are saying that you're not open every Friday and Saturday night, which good for you, whatever. I'm trying to look at it from their point of view because I do get in their situation sometimes where I put up barricades in my yard to make sure because people will try to push the issue. I think we all understand that. I understand their concerns because Christmas, I had a lot of people come to the house. A lot of people go to the neighbor's house. We park. And we try to do it amicably for everybody to prevent, because if an emergency situation happens, it's not going to finish well because it's a family wants to be with family. So I understand both sides. Believe me, I sympathize with you because it's for 3 days and it's fine. It happens. It is what it is. I knew what I was getting into when I bought the property and moved there. So I guess it's been mentioned a couple of times about possible compromise. I don't know which route and how that would be. Mr. Delcom just touched on what the state is very vague and whatnot. So I want to make sure these people get taken care of because I would not want, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want that either if somebody's in your yard, doing something they weren't supposed to be doing.
Yes, sir.
And I think he would probably kind of sort of understand to a certain extent, like I would, if someone is trying to have a venue, let's call it that, for certain types of functions to be amicable for both parties to where something can be worked out. I'm not taking sides here. And unfortunately, I'm not fond of someone saying it's a black and white issue. I don't appreciate that at all. I never viewed it as that. I viewed it as parking, no parking, residential, non-residential, whatever it may be. I never viewed it any other way. So I'm going to get that out in the open right now. I'm not fond of that being said and directed towards the council. I hope you'll understand why I'm saying this, because that's unfair. So with that being said, I sympathize with you, 100% agree with what y'all are after, because I would not want that in any way, shape, or form on my property. On your behalf, I understand what you're trying to do, and good on you for, having a venue for functions and whatnot. Just throwing it out there. It happens for us only once a year, not as often as you may have something, but I would like to see some sort of, if it's possible, compromise to make sure, because I know for the holidays, it's going to be full down that road. It's going to be full. I get it. So I think we need to do, like Mr. Vincent said, some soul searching, but I also think we need to be smart about this to where it works for them and everybody up and down that road, to where there's no more feuding and everybody's somewhat happy with what potentially the end result could be. So, I'm done.
Mr. Bobby, you have anything you want to add?
I wanted to mention that the club been there for 15 years. And, I mean, I hate to keep going back. With the trail ride, like Mr. Delcom said, everything was in order. I helped this young man out. I personally don't do trail rides. This will never happen again. I mean, now I went through it, and it's never gonna happen again. I'm not gonna, I mean, if they make their dances, that's fine. What took a lot of place was when they came with the horse trailers. Then it took a lot of the parking lot. That will never happen again. And if someone asks me to help them, I'm gonna specifically tell them, how out a contract, turn the trailers away. This is gonna be used for vehicle parking only. Not gonna be used for trail rides. Now, if we wanna go back, when I bought the property, it was about 2 years. It was blighted property. There was a mobile home trailer on there that was falling apart. I had pictures of it, I looked for it, I couldn't find it. My own cousin, Mr. Eric, he called me a few times. I said, man, call Mr. Vincent. Mr. Vincent can file a nuisance on the property. It's gonna go in front of the planning and zoning, go in front of Ms. Morgan, and then they're gonna turn the people. I go all the time. I see this happen. I kept getting the phone calls. Came into my mind, well, you know, I can use it for parking lot. So I bought the property, cleaned it out, got it all ready, closed the drains out to beautify it, everything. Now, we go back on the loss of value. When I ran the petition to open the club, Mr. Eric signed the petition saying that he didn't have a problem with the club opening there. And I had to get, I think it was 11 of them. But it's not the same residents. The guy behind me, forgot what his name was, they refused, and the guy across the street said he signed, stayed neutral. So 7 out of 11 within the 300 feet from the bar signed saying they didn't have a problem with the club opening up. So, I mean, I'm just saying this parking lot would be a beneficial growth to the business. It'll keep people off the road, off the Highway 31, the main highway. It keep people off Orchard Park. And Mr. Vincent said, I told Mr. Eric, build a fence. I have the conversation we had on our cell phone. We never spoke about a fence. I can pull it up, let any one of y'all read it. But Mr. Eric said he was enjoying the view, and somebody went on the side of the ditch in front of his house, which is across the street from my property, and then they got into it. So when they came in the club and told me that, I went and talked to them guys that was on my property, because they hadn't told me it happened across the street. They just told me it was outside. And I told them, I said, hey guys, look, that door is open right here for the club. Y'all just use it, go in there and use the restroom. They all said okay. True what Mr. Eric said. He texted me, I believe it was the Saturday. We was just ripping and running and trying to get everything going, keep the trail ride functioning. I was tired Monday. I didn't answer my text until Tuesday. On Tuesday, him and I, we started texting. And I can show y'all the text messages. I mean, I know it probably might be irrelevant, but I'm saying I have done everything in my power to keep this place functioning quietly. And in the 15 years that I've been there, even before, we never had no one to call the cops and say, hey, they're parking on the side of that road. I don't foresee them parking on the side of that road. I really don't. Now, again, I'm gonna ask, and it's like everyone that comes out here, no one really ever spoke about no parking signs down all of Orchard Park. Everyone that comes out and speak asks not to put the no parking signs in front of their homes, in front of their residentials. And I ask the same. Please don't put it on my side next to my building, my property. If Mr. Eric wants it on his side, and I mentioned this before, they can put one at the beginning of his property, one at the end, and on the sign would say, no parking in between signs. Mr. Eric just had said it. He didn't ask all of Orchard Park. He just concerned about his. So how we come to conclusion of that is basically like what Mr. Pete said. If we could put a no parking in between signs on Mr. Eric's side, and then like that, if anything happens, he's good. If someone else wants it down the neighborhood, because I only think 3 people wanted it. I didn't even sign the petition. I wasn't even asked to sign the petition. because I am not a resident of Orchard Park. I just own a lot. So my value on words is probably a little nothing because I don't actually live there. So like we said, we can come to conclusion or we can go at this until the wee hours in the morning.
I think we discussed quite a bit. Ms. Narcisse, you had something else you wanted to say?
Just quick, if by some reason you were granted to rezone that lot for parking, would you have it open to public parking? Because it seems on
No,
that.
I have signs on it that
Again.
says, I read it now, private parking only.
Oh, so it's private, so you're not being nice.
Huh? But it's not mean nice. It's just that I had complaints before that people was parking on the property, playing loud music. So that's why I took it upon myself to put signs saying, and it's Indiglo parking only. All others would be towed away. That's meaning, because I don't have people just to come and park cars there and leave. And that's not
How
good.
about residents parking only?
Oh, yeah, the resident, I mean, he's my cousin.
No, we need
His wife, brothers and sisters, we all grew up in the same neighborhood. His wife have a sister named Pam. Pam gonna park on there and say, look, that's on you, do what you want. I don't have a problem with them parking on that. If, not just, in other words, I don't want someone just to come and dump cars on there and leave. Or just park a car there and then they jump in with somebody else and leave. And then the car's unattended. That I wouldn't want.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Alexander, you have something else you want to bring up?
Andrew Babino, you sent me a text here, not just this one, and this one was floating on Facebook. I'll forward a copy to Mr. Delcom and I'll forward a copy to Ms. Brooks. On that first paragraph you have right here, I don't have to go through all of them. The first paragraph you got, you keep pressuring Pete Delcom to make me stop parking my friends on my property. Who gave you that information that I'm pressuring Mr. Delcom?
Mr. Delcom came to my club and we talked, and he told me that you had asked for a cease and desist. And I told him I spoke to Miss Morgan already, but about getting the property, I would like to make it all one property for tax reasons, but then we were working on that, me and Miss Morgan. When I explained that to Mr. Delcom, he said, no, Mr. Babineau, you're doing it the wrong way. You have to get it commercial. So he said, get with Miss Morgan on Monday and start the paperwork. Call Miss Morgan Monday morning. I think we met the Tuesday. Yeah, we met the very next day we met. So, and then in the past, yes, Mr. Delcom has told me, Mr. Babineau, the paperwork in order. I said, I talked to Miss Morgan, we're getting everything going. Mr. Delcom said, Vincent is asking me about it. Now, if I worded it as pushing, I'm sorry, but Mr. Delcom did ask me on several occasions if the paperwork was in process. And I said, yes. And then Mr. Delcom called me one day and said, Mr. Babineau, I spoke to Miss Morgan. The paperwork is in process. I went in and paid the $300. We got the paperwork. We got the drawings all up and everything. And then that was it.
Clarity, can I say something?
Yes, Mr. Delcom.
Yes, and in that vein, I did say, as of right now, the ordinance states that this lot is residential.
Yes.
You are parking according to your club, and as Mr. Vincent has requested a cease and desist, I said, although you are in the process of trying to get this cleared up, that I may have to issue a cease and desist because you are illegally right now. Hopefully in the very near future, it'll be cleared up. And that's when I went to Mr. Durio, and I will take my measure to make sure that the parish is doing everything as we are protocoled to do. And we're in the process of getting this thing in whatever direction the council did. And a cease and desist has been filed, and then we'll see where all of this goes.
If I sent pressure, I'm sorry. But all I'm saying is Mr. Delcom spoke to me about maybe 3 times, Mr. Delcom?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did, trying to get this cleared up, and you started the process to do it. And then since that has been completed, that a cease and desist was sent to you.
Well, I never received it.
Okay, that's good.
received it.
Well, I have a question for you, Mr. Babineau, Mr. Andrew Babineau. Oh, okay. Mr. Duckham said he went to you and told you that this was residential, that like he couldn't use it for parking.
Yes, he did it.
Okay.
He explained it to me.
And then-
And then that's why we started the
But hold
process
it.
to make it
Let me-
commercial.
So why you continue using it when the parish president told you it was illegal?
Well, I mean, I can use it until I receive the cease and desist letter. He did not come and hand me the cease and desist letter. He advised
So
me
that's
of
why you
what the
continue
punishment.
using it, even though you know it was illegal, but because
Okay,
you
so
wasn't served-
you illegal when you saying you live
Yeah,
in your
because you
office, but
wasn't
you live
served.
on
Whoa.
Ridge over there. So you illegal?
Hey,
You residential fraud.
Listen,
I can have
whoa.
three
Hey, this
residential
needs to
if I
stop.
want.
This
I'll pick the
conversation.
one I want, sir.
All right,
And I-
point of
and I
order,
pick-
Mr.
and I
Vincent.
pick the property.
Bobby, no,
I
I'm
pick
gonna
the property
ask
that I want.
Yeah,
You don't
Mr.
live in
Bobby,
District
no.
7.
It's gonna go a little further now.
Mr. Bobby, no, I'm gonna ask that we
gonna go a little
finished
further.
with this conversation. Mr. Alexander, I think we've said enough.
But it's not over. It's gonna go further.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
We
No,
good.
you're not sorry.
We good. Mr. Vincent,
You're gonna be sorry though, but you're not sorry right now.
No, this.
so, no, I think, listen, we discussed this thing issue, I think it's time to move on to the next item.
Next item up for bid. Number 8.
Item 8, consider the adoption of a resolution canceling the July 2026 Public Works and Administrative Finance Joint Committee meeting.
This is due to the NACO annual meeting. It would be too hard for us to be able to do both of them. The reschedule would be too close to the next meeting. So we just decided to go ahead and, if everybody's in agreement, just to consider it.
Item 9, consider appointments, reappointments to various committees. Item 10, Parish President's Report.
Mr. Delcom.
Okay, you were given the listing of our projects that are going on, Cypress Bayou, Corps of Engineers, Alcide Bonaire, Corps of Engineers, Petroleum Parkway. We are making progress with that. Jodeg Canal, 85% complete. If you're leaving on Highway 96, where the Sheriff's Department facility is, if you look to the right, you'll see the progress. It's all been cleared up. This goes all the way from right at that spot, all the way to Leeds Champagne Road, and they're 85% complete. Sales tax, number 1, road improvements, Chess Broussard has been completed, Burden Olivier completed. They're doing the patchwork, the preliminary work on Bayou Fusilier. They're starting the process on Boone La Sagne. All of the roads that had been previously listed and engineered will be done within the contracted time. Okay. Also, you were given a listing of roads that tentatively we will look at for next year. We're starting the process, look at it, talk amongst yourselves, get in touch with me. What do y'all want? What do y'all want to do? I've contacted our supervisors. They're boots on the ground in the parish every day. They know what roads are bad. They know what roads need to be taken care of. I'll use their intervention. Your intervention will come up with whatever roads we decide according to the monies that we have to take care of it. So we're getting that in the process to where hopefully on the same schedule by the third quarter, we should be in finalization so that we can get this thing kick-started for next year. After the first of the year, the end of the fourth quarter, we can start the process on our next series of roads. Water consolidation, going down Henderson Control Structure, we're in the lean period. There was a plate that the water removed. This was not a plate that was under the construction. This was an older plate that it seemed to be in good order. It wasn't touched. It was removed by the water pressure. When the water goes down, it's simply one plate and we can go back and take care of it. But for all intents and purposes, the Henderson Control Structure was a success. 96 Detour Road in Catahoula, it is presently being used. They have taken out the old culvert. They put in the new box culvert. They're in the process of repacking that culvert. They are on schedule. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, they will have completed the installation of that culvert. We can take out the temporary road out of Miss Sis Bonaz's yard. And Project Highway 96 is in the process with milling to start in the very near future. Boxcar Road, we have put in all of the sheet metal that has been completed. We're waiting for the caps to the sheet metal to come in next week. It should be a very quick process thereafter, and we'll have Boxcar Road completed. Water consolidation, the well site has been, they grubbed it. They are bringing in dirt today, starting the initiation of the phase 1 of the pad. Going well, very good. Well number 1 that was refurbished is almost complete. At the water meeting next week, I'll get an update on all of the projects from the engineers, and I'll be able to give that at the next meeting. Have in mind the Bayou Shen control structure in Stevensville. Mr. Durio has completed the tentative CEA, so we need to start talking about the Bayou Shen control structure. We did have conversation with a couple of the council persons. All council persons will need to get involved so that we can make a decision on this. The bid opening on the annex occurred this afternoon at 2:00. The preliminary numbers look like the initial bid and alternates will come under the initial budgeted amount of $1.34 million. We will wait for the architect to give us the finalization on this number and on the contractor. And at that point in time, it'll be relayed on to y'all. That's all I have. Any questions on anything?
Ms. Alexander? No, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Delcom,
Yes.
I'm asking this because I don't know, okay?
Okay.
Is it possible that we could have a ribbon cutting on Bosco Road?
Yes, we can.
Well, I would appreciate if they could do that, arrange for it.
When the project is finished up, we can certainly do that.
You let me know, and I'll try to get the news media there.
That'd be a very good gesture. We just finished Corville Road. I mean, the road was completed. We just did the structure on Boxcar. I think it'd be a very good to show the people in your district and the people in the parish that, we got their money working for them.
I'm here to try to help the parish be #1 parish for the Acadian area if I can. But I don't have time to be going back and forth, fighting this and fighting that. You understand what I mean? That's what I was trying to tell Mr. Tozan the other day. If you come in my district, at least give me the courtesy to let me know you're going in my district. Don't just go there and like you went to Andrew Babino a couple of times.
Mr. Vincent, we need to stop with all this because first of all, that's irrelevant to the question. We all serve St. Martin Parish government. If somebody calls us to go out there, even if it's our district or not our district, we still need to see what the constituents.
Well, call me. They called me 2-3 times.
Mr. Vincent, listen, what you're discussing about has nothing to do with this. If you want to have a discussion after the meeting about it, that's fine. But this is irrelevant to what we did, Mr. Delcom just brought with the parish president's report. Unless you have a question about the parish president's report, I don't think we have.
Okay, but that's it. But I just want to, whenever you can do it, I'll contact the news medias. Let the people see what we're doing in St. Martin Parish.
I look forward to it, Mr. Vincent.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Item 11, council discussion or comment.
District 1?
This is for the parish president, real quick. I thought that Catahoula looked like it was going to bid and then it got pulled back. Is that because of the Highway 96 road or?
No, we were initially, if you remember, we were going to Emil Barra Road, and then we said that there was additional monies that were appropriated and we were going to complete the project. Well, once they looked into where Lachale's with in Catahoula Cove, the entirety of that coulee goes in his yard, goes through his business yard. So therefore, that had not been taken into consideration. So instead of it starting now, and we would have had to have done project 1 and then come back and do project 2 separately. We said, well, let's just kick it back 4 months, being that we've waited this long, so that we can try and do the entirety of the project in one project. So it was initially to Barra Road, and then again, we were gonna try and put in the other part, but with Lachalay's yard, it threw a whole nother stick in the spokes, and we just delayed it so we can do the entire project.
Thank you.
District 2? District 3? District 4? Oh, District 3, okay, I'm sorry, I'm thinking, yeah.
All right, so I have, this is on the whole for the council, but definitely for the parish president as the administrator. I had the pleasure of sitting with our Acadiana leaders, as they call it. And I paid a lot of money to be a part of this association. And this association was speaking on so much, but they were not mentioning, they had not mentioned St. Martin Parish. So if you all know me, I was like, hold on a minute. So I did. And it is part of the Acadiana Real Estate Association. And the mayors, Scott, Youngsville, Broussard, Carencro, Dusson, all of them, they were at the table and just speaking of things that's happening and how it's happening and just letting into some things. So, I was like, well, where is St. Martin Parish? So I spoke on behalf of my parish president, my council, the mayor, the city of St. Martin mayor, and that council, and I said, we're here too. And I paid a lot of money to be a part of this association, and I sit on the board. So I want this to be happening in St. Martin Parish too. So with that being said, I spoke to the clerk, so we're making sure that with us being there, when that comes the time, if you guys accept the invitation, that we're not out of compliance of this, the parish there, the city there. There won't be no agenda, but that association will be there with builders and realtors and just different people, corporations, and how we can tie into one another and how we can grow. So that's what I'm working on, and I'm just doing a little preliminary out there to you guys, but it's coming, and we're gonna send an invite, and I would love for y'all to attend. I think we need to attend because there's some things that we could tap into.
So it's basically for economic development and yeah.
Yeah, and just I'm not saying this can happen to Mr. Vincent, so I'm just saying, because I just be thinking, but we be talking about water. Let me tell you, those people doing over there, those people making the builders buy into the water. You want to come build here, you buy into it. So it's just, they're turning the table, and that's how they just making things happen. And I think we can tap into that. We can get to them because I think we're smarter than them. I'll say it on the record. We can make some things happen. So I'm looking forward to putting this together, and some of us being at the table on a panel, being able to answer questions and being able to ask questions. So I hope y'all in agreement.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you.
I was not aware of it, but being that it is being brought up, and yes, certainly want to participate. Yes, ma'am.
District 4. District 6.
I'm good right now.
District 7, not here. Or is it District 7?
Yeah, we got two comments to make, and then that's it for tonight, okay? The first one is, I wish someone would tell me why Andrew Babineau wasn't served by the St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Office, or you put the papers in his hand, not certified mail. It should have been handed in his hand in person. Why did that happen? Can somebody tell me, Mr. Duckman?
That's not the norm. That's not how it has ever been done, and that's not how it's done. Normal protocol is with a certified letter.
Exactly. So why wasn't that done?
It was done. He just never, for whatever reason, it was sent certified, and he did not receive it.
Yeah, but
we'll have to check on the address.
Why it was hand delivered?
Because we've never done it like that before. if that would have, if this is what you would have requested, I didn't know about this either until tonight that he didn't receive it. I had assumed that by Wednesday of last week, he would have had it in his hand. Now, I didn't follow up. Mr. Lee didn't follow up. We just assumed that it happened, but it didn't. But we're going to take the necessary precautions to where this doesn't happen again. And I apologize.
That's what I'm saying. That was one question, and now I forgot what the second question is. You know, I'm trying to think. What was the second question I was going to ask? But yeah, that's okay. It might come back to talk.
District 8, District 9. I had one question. Mr. Duckham, I was just wondering, I know we had an issue with the sewer inside the jail, and I know we're doing the necessary repairs to be able to, or where are we with that? Has that been completed, or is that in process?
The problem has been rectified, and I'm sitting down with the mayor. We had a meeting last Thursday, and he didn't have all of the information that was necessary to be able to make a qualified decision. I talked to McBain Engineering today, and they are in the process of getting all of the information needed to make that qualified decision. So when I get that, I will have another meeting with the mayor, and then we'll see where we're at with it.
Okay, that's not the question. The question I was asking about the sewer line that broke inside the jail.
All right. We fixed the sewer line that was over the compromised area. We have taken the position of doing a proactive approach to where if this sewer line goes the length of the administrative building, and if this happened right here, there's probably other areas of that same line that will be affected in the very near future. And so as not to go through what we just went through, we prioritized each room, the server room, the council room, whatever, in a listing of priority and a listing of monies that we have available, talking with the CFO, to take each room independently and change that portion out to where this doesn't happen again.
So we didn't have to relocate anybody or move anything
They
out?
relocated that tax area for 2 days, 3 days, and then they were able to then bring everybody back in. The room that it happened in has totally been refurbished, new furniture, new IT equipment, and that has been, everything is back to normal in the tax department and in that office.
And I know we were renting the space for the assessor's office. That's been completed. That's finished too, right?
The assessor's office has been completed. Mr. Raymond may be able to elaborate a little bit. The lease has been.
The lease on the building has been completed. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Put a sign in the front right here.
I'm sorry. The tax assessor has moved back into their normal office, and the lease that we had with Mr. Reed Martin for that rental building has been complete.
Okay. I was just wondering if the tax assessor, it had been completed.
They've moved back in.
And then I think we did do a little renovations or some painting and stuff, maybe on the, I know it was requested, and I think we got it done for the register of voters office. We did some work in there maybe?
We did some work with the moving of some of the furniture. Some things were bumped up, and Ms. Trish had asked if we could upgrade her office. It just has a fresh coat of paint and a clean floor.
Yeah, so that's all been done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And to add to Mr. Delcom's, I did meet with the plumber today. He's just about ready. We're going room by room. So the first issue was a dire emergency that has all been fixed, repaired. We've been billed for it. So we've asked for phases, and so we've popped some tiles. We understand where the remainder of the metal piping is at, which exposes us to some risk. And now he's going room by room, giving me a cost. And then we're working hand in hand with the sheriff's department to try to not disrupt them. So when we're going to do room A, they will proactively move people out so we can do what we need to do, get it cleaned up, get them back in, and then move on to another room.
That is the old black case pipe?
It's the black iron
The original piping probably.
It's, yes, sir. Yeah, 45, 48 years old. constantly
I
in
know
use.
this has been going on since I've been on the council. We've had issues. It always comes up that we were fixing pieces of it here and there, just trying to piece that thing back together because it's
Yes, sir.
just in dire need of being replaced.
After the last incident, it's a much more proactive approach now. Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Raymond.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Alexander, you have something?
Yes. What I wanted to ask before this meeting is over is that to consider this paperwork here from the Planning and Zoning Committee. And it says, a motion was made by Robbie Frederick, second by Jamie Ongel, to deny the rezoning petition of 1002 Orchard Park Drive in Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, from R2 mix residential to C2 general commercial for the use of the parking lot for Andes Anglo Club. Now, yeah, I know we went over this several times, but the Planning and Zoning Committee made it plenty clear, and they voted unanimously. There were two persons that was absent. Kip Lestrap and Randy Dover was absent, but everybody else voted unanimously to reject that rezoning from residential to commercial. And I'm asking you all to consider that seriously, and I think they got some good people on that Planning and Zoning Committee that does a good job, and I don't think we should go against what they're asking. They're recommending this after interviewing not just Mr. Eric Babineau. They had about 4 different people that was on the Orchard Park that came to do a presentation to the Planning and Zoning Committee, Mr. Chairman, okay? So that's it. That's all I want to say. I don't want to just keep saying, I'll keep repeating myself, but I'm serious about this. I want to accommodate the people that lives there, make it safe for them, and not be having to call someone, come on, block my driveway and all that. And next thing you know, like Mr. Eric Babineau said, next thing you know, they're going to be shooting there. You feel what I'm saying? Then going and maybe killing some children. You feel what I'm saying? Let the club use the parking lot they've been using for 15 years. You don't need another parking lot. Thank you.
No other? Meeting adjourned.
Not yet.
Oh, what? Oh, hold up. We got one more.
Two more.
Yeah.
Item 12, completed constituents' work order per request forms for March 2026 were emailed to you. Item 13, reports, statements of revenues and expenditures and balance sheet for March 2026 were also emailed to you.
Meeting adjourned.